Today's show is brought to you by State Farm. Agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt is ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. I saw so much celebration about this pick. We finally have our quarterback. Media-wide, league-wide, fan-wide, everybody was happy. And it made me think, what are the unintended consequences? What are the issues with this pick? What's the problem? Are there any problems? Was this genuinely the right move for the team? See, that's my job to you. I'm not here to tell you what you want. Not here to say, oh my goodness, great pick, yay. I'm not a fan. I want to tell you the truth. There are both pros and cons to this pick. Was I happy that the Bears moved up to get him? Not really, no. That they gave up 2 more first-round picks? That they further salvaged more capital at the quarterback position? Hell no, wasn't happy about that. Am I happy that now there's a 3-man competition for the starting job this year? No, not at all. Am I happy that they're paying Foles $9 million, Dalton $10 million, and now they have Fields? These are things we have to think about here. We could all be happy, but the fact is Fields may not even start a game for this upcoming season. Ryan Pace said we want him to develop, and Andy Dalton is still the QB1. And I want to make sure this is very clear to Bears fans. I see it on my show. I see it on comments and phone calls. Fire Pace, fire Nagy, right? Heard it 100 times on this show. You do realize that they are not going anywhere now. It won't be 1 more year. They have 2 or 3, in my opinion. If they were given this long to develop Mitch, they'll be given the same amount of time to develop Justin Fields. So for those of you who really want them gone, for those of you who know deep down, like me, that they aren't the best moves for this organization, you're screwed. They are staying. There is a secret contract extension that they signed. Because if there wasn't, they wouldn't pick Fields. Why would they go out and pick a brand new quarterback if they knew for sure their jobs were on the line? See the trade-off here? You do get possibly a good quarterback. We don't know for sure, but we do know one thing for sure. Nagy and Pace aren't going anywhere. So what happens next year when they go 9-8? What happens then? What, more positional coaches are going to be fired? Right? New scapegoats? Whose fault is it going to be this time? See what I mean? We'll talk about Fields in a second and what he means for this team. But I really need to make sure you understand this. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace aren't going anywhere. That's a fact. because this pick was made, they've been entrusted with more years for this team. And I just found it funny because I know so many people. I see it in the comments on every single Bears video I do. Fire Pace, fire Nagy. But yet, now they aren't going anywhere. I haven't heard anyone say anything about it. Just remember that unintended consequences, trade-offs. A trade-off was made. All of you who are celebrating, and you have every right to, have yet to realize that the people you do not like will still be very close to the team. I remember the caller, Matt from Tinley Park, on this channel. And he told me, fire everybody, including Ted Phillips. They're not going anywhere now. They aren't going anywhere. They would not have been able to move up, trade more draft capital, and get another quarterback to develop if they truly had 1 year left. See, these are things no one's thinking of. Everyone's just so happy, and that's fine. I'm here to tell you the truth. Those whom you despise will still have power for a number of years. Oh, and by the way, do we trust Matt Nagy and Pace to develop a quarterback? Wait a minute. Do we trust a fair competition this year? That's what I thought. I don't. We saw what happened last year, and I know it's Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles, but Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, same dynamic. There are so many variables here, it's not even funny. Fields could start game one, even though he's not ready because Pace and Nagy want to keep their jobs. They could sit him all year and have Andy Dalton start and have the team go 7-10. They could have him come in mid-season based on performance because Dalton isn't getting it done. Or the competition will be unfair from the beginning and they'll just give it to Dalton because they don't want Fields to start no matter how good he does. Does Fields really need a year to sit? We don't know any of this. We will soon, but we don't. Do you really trust the Bears when it comes to a quarterback competition? I don't. No chance I do. These are things we have to think about. The positive is Matthew Stafford gone, Kirk Cousins horrible, and Aaron Rodgers is being a baby. So the Bears are the de facto, I think, favorite in a sense in the NFC North. It's a positive. And maybe they can win the division with Andy Dalton even. I can see it. But we have to see how this plays out. And I'll be honest with you. It's not that Fields isn't talented. It's that I'm very concerned about who the Bears have around him. That was the theme last year, and we all know that. You can say what you want about Mitch or Foles, both of them. They had nothing around him. No O-line, aging defense, no offensive weapons. Same thing this year. No O-line, aging defense. Kyle Fuller's gone. And you have an offensive weapon in Allen Robinson. Darnell Mooney could pop off. And David Montgomery. You don't have a number 3 wide receiver. Even a 4. You need one more. And who knows how the running game's going to work. Hey, David Montgomery had a good year, but it didn't start that way. Nagy didn't commit to the run. We all remember that. He's never been committed to the run. far as Justin Fields goes, I think he'll be an okay quarterback. But I do think he's a guy who needs the right system. I don't think he has just enough raw talent to go out there and carve anybody up. See, people have compared him to Pat Mahomes. He's not Pat Mahomes. Sorry. No. Get that out of your head right away. Not Pat Mahomes. And frankly, if you're under Matt Nagy as a quarterback, good luck. I hope for the best. It's going to be tough for him. Really tough. I know he has raw talent. I know he could run. That's great. But good luck succeeding in this environment. I'm not saying he's Mitch Trubisky. He's better than Mitch, for sure. But look at how much he struggled. Nick Foles struggled. What makes you think he's just going to rise above all this adversity and win? Only a few quarterbacks in the NFL can win with no one around him. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers to an extent, Tom Brady. Those quarterbacks could win no matter what team they're on, no matter who their coach is, no matter what personnel they have around them. They could win a football game. Do you really expect Justin Fields as a rookie to join that class? You shouldn't. That's naive if you do. He has potential, but he needs to be developed, needs to be nurtured as a quarterback, needs to have some pieces around him. You can't throw a rookie into the fire with no O-line. That just is unacceptable. And the thing that really concerns me about this whole pick, not just Fields, the Bears moved up. See, I feel like this time the Bears were compelled to move up. They were so worried and so scarred from Mitch Trubisky that they just felt like we have to do this. It felt desperate to me. That was the message I got. It felt very desperate. I'm not saying it won't be good. I'm not saying Fields won't work out, but the way in which it was done was desperation. That's my concern. Everybody's saying the Bears got it right now. Don't you think that played a role here? Don't you think they thought to themselves, well, now we have to get it right. So we'll do something that might be a bit reckless and we'll hope it works. The situation is just very off-putting to me. I'm not criticizing Fields' talent. I don't know about it yet. We haven't seen him play in an NFL game. I can't say he's bad, he's going to be horrible. We haven't seen him. But everything that surrounded the pick just doesn't sit right with me. The fact that they had to move up, give up a couple of first-round picks, I think they did it out of desperation. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace aren't going anywhere. And if Fields doesn't work, you've got this team further and further behind. Not to mention the fact that I do not trust a quarterback competition on this team. After last year, you shouldn't either. You actually trust it to be fair? You actually trust it to be based off merit? Andy Dalton starting game 1. Oh, and you trust Matt Nagy to develop Fields. Right, because he's such a quarterback guru. Give me a break. You could be happy. You could celebrate. No one's saying you shouldn't. But reality needs to set in. This is reality. There are still a lot of question marks here. A lot of them. And until those are answered, I'm keeping my expectations in check. I am not going to tell you right now, wow, the Bears are going to win the division, Super Bowl champions, amazing team. Everything's okay now. The team's fixed. No. And if this doesn't work, you heard it here first, you are really going to regret all this. Between giving up more capital, between Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy sticking around for longer than just one more year, if this doesn't work, the organization will not be good till at least 2030. Calling it right now. By the time they realize Fields isn't it, it's going to take 2 or 3, maybe even 4 years. Then firings, then new GM, new coach, another rebuild. We're talking about 9 or 10 years here. If Fields doesn't work. If he does, great. And I'll be the first person to toot his horn and be very happy. But just remember what I said here today. The consequences. The ramifications of this whole pick are huge. I mean, the Bears as a franchise are at a crossroads here. They really are. They swung again. They tried to ignore what happened in the past. I don't think they did. That's why they moved up. I think this pick was out of desperation. And I'm not fully sure as to how this will work out. You could say what you want. It's wrong to come out and just claim everything's okay now. I get the celebration. Wow, another new quarterback, first round pick. But you can't say everything's fine. The elation will wash off in the next couple of days, and you'll think to yourself, what does this all mean anyway? And you'll remember this video and this radio program. I told you what it all means. There's a lot at stake here. This isn't just, oh my goodness, great quarterback, let's celebrate. No. We're talking about the Bears' future for the next 10 years right now. At least. We're talking about Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace. They are staying past next year. So for all of you who told me, fire Pace, fire Nagy, hashtag fire Pace, fire Nagy, you aren't getting your wish. Not for at least 2 more years, maybe 3. Just remember. Remember what you had to trade personally to get Justin Fields. You might have gotten a good quarterback. We don't even know if he's going to be good. But we do know this. You got him, and you let, in turn, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy stick around. You traded away more draft capital. You invested even more in one position while everything else decays. You're trusting Matt Nagy to develop him, and you're trusting a fair quarterback competition, which, since when is that even a thing with the Bears? You could be happy, you could celebrate, you could claim everything's okay, everything's fine. I don't think it is. And anyone who tells you otherwise is being a fan. They're just being a fan. They're happy. Objectively, not everything's okay yet. Could be soon, not yet. All of these factors surround this pick. And it's wrong to say, we're all good over here. You have to think about the unintended consequences, the collateral damage by making this pick. Think about what you gave up as a fan to bring in Justin Fields. You gave up your passion, which is Nagy and Pace shouldn't be here. You gave up reinforcements around the quarterback position. You gave up another couple of first-round picks. And if Fields doesn't work, you gave up about 10 years of the Bears franchise, realistically. Seriously. Fields will get 3 or 4 years at most. And if he doesn't work, then firings happen. Then a new regime comes in. Then you have to wait for a new rebuild to take place. If Fields doesn't work, the Bears will not be good again until 2030. At the earliest. That's it. So just remember what you gave up to get here. I wish him all the best. And it's going to be a great Bears season now covering this entire storyline. I'm excited. But just hold back your expectations a bit. I'm not saying don't celebrate. I'm not saying Pace did a bad job by moving up. I'm just saying you don't know what to expect yet. And it's wrong to come out and claim everything's fine. All of these things need time to develop, and we'll cover it for you. There are going to be so many headlines and storylines from today leading up to training camp and the regular season and throughout the season. We'll be here. Cover it all. But don't think at the end of April that all of a sudden the Bears are Super Bowl contenders again. There's a long way to go for this team. There's a lot of development to do. There are a lot of things that still have to be seen. So go ahead and celebrate. Go ahead and be happy that the Bears made a bold move. But don't expect a Super Bowl today. Don't think they're back in business. Don't think everything is fine. There's a ways to go. Other things still have to play out. And those who tell you otherwise are lying to you. Those who tell you everything is okay are lying. There's more to be seen. So don't believe the lies. Don't believe the myths. Don't believe what everybody else is saying. Think for yourself. Think. All of you who watch me, I know you. I know my audience. I am very shocked to think that all of you are okay with this and just know Pace and Nagy are sticking around. Or that there's going to be a quote-unquote fair quarterback competition. Or that the Bears gave up a couple of first-round picks to get Justin Fields. Oh, and we don't even know what he's capable of. Oh, and Matt Nagy is going to be developing him. See, when you look at it that way, you see the problem. When you just say, oh my gosh, this is great, you see nothing. Remember what really goes on. Remember, there's a long way to go. But that said, I can't wait to see how it all plays out. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Mark Giangreco comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. Cubs and White Sox are back. The Bulls have a couple of games left before their season ends. The Hawks still battling for a playoff spot. And yes, you can bet on the Bears. Prop bets on Justin Fields are out today. Over or under 3,000 yards, over or under 15 touchdowns. It's a great time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.